The ship Soul's Pride moved slowly through space toward the crystal planet. Jiwan pressed his face against the viewing window and stared at the beautiful world ahead. It looked like a giant jewel floating in the darkness. Blue and green lights danced across its surface like waves on water. Amazing, he whispered to himself. Hana walked up behind him. She was the mission leader and always looked serious. Stop daydreaming, Jiwan. We need to prepare for contact. This is the most important meeting in human history. Jiwan nodded but kept looking at the planet. He was the ship's language expert. His job was to help humans talk to aliens, but this time was different. The Veiltar were not like other aliens. They were made of living crystal and spoke with colors and sounds instead of words. Do-Yun joined them at the window. He studied different alien cultures and always carried a tablet full of notes. The reports say they are 7 feet tall and shine like gemstones. They change colors when they feel different emotions. Just like mood rings, Jiwan said with a small smile. Hana frowned. This is not a joke. We cannot make mistakes. Earth is counting on us to make friends with them. Their technology could help solve our energy problems. The 3 humans went to the meeting room. The walls were covered with screens showing information about the Veiltar. Jiwan had studied their culture for months. He knew they valued politeness and formal behavior above everything else. Remember the rules, Hana said to everyone. About when you meet them. Do not touch them. Speak only when asked questions. Use the formal greeting we practiced. Jiwan felt nervous. The formal greeting was long and boring. It had many big words about respect and honor. He worried he might forget some of it. The ship docked at the Veiltar space station. It was made entirely of crystal that glowed with soft light. Through the connecting tunnel, they could see their first Veiltar waiting for them. She was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Her body looked like it was carved from sapphire and emerald. Light moved through her like water through colored glass. She was tall and graceful, and her face had sharp angles that caught the light. That must be crystal singer Luxana, Do-Hyun whispered, checking his notes. The ambassador's colors shifted from blue to purple as they approached. Jiwan had read that purple meant curiosity in their culture. Hana stepped forward and began the formal greeting. Her voice was stiff and careful. Honored crystal singer, we greet you with the light of 1,000 stars. We come bearing the hopes of our people and the desire for mutual understanding between our worlds. Luxana's colors became gray. That was not good. Gray meant boredom or disappointment. Hana continued with the long speech about peace and cooperation. The crystal being's colors got grayer and grayer. Sometimes flashes of red appeared, which meant annoyance. Jiwan watched and felt worried. This was going badly. The formal words were not working. He could see that Luxana was losing interest. After Hana finished, Luxana made sounds like wind chimes in a storm. The translation device on the wall struggled to turn the sounds into words. Your words are empty. Shells. Where is truth in speaking? Hana looked confused. She tried another formal response about how honored they were to meet such a distinguished representative of her people. Luxana's colors flashed red. The sound she made was harsh and sharp. The translator said, false harmony. You sing without feeling. Do-Yun stepped forward with his tablet. Perhaps I can explain our cultural practices. In human society, formal speech shows respect. But Luxana's colors turned darker. She was clearly not interested in explanations. Jiwan felt frustrated. All their preparation was failing. The formal speeches that worked with other aliens were making things worse with the Veiltar. He watched Luxana's beautiful crystal form and suddenly understood something. She was not just pretty. She was magnificent. Her crystal body caught light from every direction and threw it back in rainbow patterns. When she moved, she looked like a living artwork. The way her colors shifted showed real emotions, not the fake politeness of diplomatic meetings. Without thinking, Jiwan stepped forward. He forgot all about the formal rules. He looked directly at Luxana and spoke from his heart. You're so gorgeous, he said simply. The room went silent. Hana gasped. Do-Hyun dropped his tablet. Luxana's entire body changed. Her crystal form shifted from dark colors to bright golden amber. The warm light spread through her like sunrise. She made soft sounds like singing bells. Even without the translator, everyone could tell she was pleased. But then something unexpected happened. Luxana raised one of her crystal arms. It became hard and sharp like a weapon. Before anyone could react, she struck Ji-won across the face. The slap sent him stumbling backward. His cheek burned with pain where the crystal had hit him. He touched his face and felt blood on his fingers. Ji-won, Hana shouted. She moved to protect him, but Luxana did not attack again. Instead, her colors changed to something they had never seen before. Deep purple mixed with gold and silver. The sounds she made were like a whole orchestra of crystal instruments playing together. The translator worked hard to understand. Finally, words came out. Truth, singer, pain, giver, beautiful, speaking, honored, one. Ji-won stood there holding his bleeding cheek, completely confused. The slap had hurt, but Luxana's colors and sounds seemed happy, not angry. Do-hyun picked up his tablet with shaking hands. I don't understand. The cultural files say physical contact means aggression in their society. Hana helped Ji-won clean his wound. We need to leave. This meeting is a disaster. But Ji-won was thinking. Something about the way Luxana had reacted felt important. Her colors after the slap were not angry colors. They were something else entirely. Wait, he said. I think we're missing something. Look at her now. Luxana stood in the middle of the room glowing with warm golden light. She was making soft musical sounds and watching them with what could only be described as affection. The slap hurt, Ji-won said slowly. But I don't think she meant to harm me. I think it meant something different. Before anyone could respond, more Veiltar entered the room. They all glowed with the same warm golden light as Luxana. They surrounded the humans, not threatening them, but singing together in harmonious crystal voices. Something important had just happened. Ji-won's simple, honest compliment had changed everything, but none of them understood what it meant yet. The medical room on Seoul's Pride was quiet except for the soft beeping of machines. Nari cleaned the cut on Ji-won's face with gentle hands. She was the ship's doctor and had seen many strange injuries, but never one caused by a crystal alien. The wound is not deep, she said, putting a bandage on his cheek, but I am worried about infection. We do not know what crystal dust might do to human skin. Ji-won sat still while she worked. His mind was not on the pain. He kept thinking about Luxana's golden glow after she hit him. Something about it felt important. Minho stood in the corner with his arms crossed. He was the military advisor and looked angry. This proves they are dangerous. We should leave before they hurt someone else. It was not an attack, Ji-won said quietly. I am sure of it. Minho laughed, but it was not a happy sound. She hit you hard enough to draw blood. How is that not an attack? Hana paced back and forth in the small room. She looked tired and worried. The mission is falling apart. Earth Command expected us to make peaceful contact. Instead, our translator got slapped by their ambassador. Sung-ho entered the room carrying his communication equipment. He was young and always excited about new technology. I recorded everything that happened. The sounds Luxana made after hitting Ji-won were completely different from before. Different how? Nari asked, finishing with Ji-won's bandage. Sung-ho played the recording on his device. The crystal singing filled the room. It was beautiful and complex, like music from another world. Listen to the frequency patterns, Sung-ho said, pointing to waves on his screen. Before Ji-won complimented her, all the Veiltar sounds were flat and simple. After the slap, they became rich and layered. Almost like they were celebrating. Minho shook his head. You are reading too much into alien noise. They attacked our diplomat. We should report this as a hostile encounter. But Ji-won was studying the sound patterns on Sung-ho's device. Something clicked in his mind. What if the slap was not violence? What if it was something else entirely? Like what? Hana asked. I do not know yet. But look at how all the other Veiltar reacted. They came running when they heard Luxana's sounds. They were glowing with the same golden light. If she had attacked me, would they be celebrating? Over the next few hours, Ji-won spent time in his small cabin studying everything they knew about Veiltar culture. He read reports from other species who had tried to contact them. Most had failed completely. The few who succeeded described the Veiltar as cold and distant. But Ji-won noticed something strange in the reports. Every successful contact happened when someone broke the formal rules. A trader who got angry and shouted. A scientist who cried when her equipment broke. A pilot who laughed at his own mistake. Each time the Veiltar had responded positively to real emotions. They do not want politeness, Ji-won said to himself. They want truth. The next day, Luxana requested another meeting. This time she came alone to their ship. The humans gathered in the meeting room, but everyone was nervous. Luxana's crystal body was still glowing with warm golden colors. She made soft singing sounds as she entered. The translator worked better now, as if it was learning her language. Truth, singer, Jiwon. Come, forward, the device said. Minho stepped in front of Jiwon. No, you heard him yesterday. We will not let you do it again. Luxana's colors shifted to confused purples and grays. She made questioning sounds. She does not understand, Jiwon said. Let me try to talk to her. Against Minho's protests, Jiwon approached the crystal ambassador. Up close, she was even more beautiful. Light danced through her crystal form like trapped rainbows. Why did you hit me? Jiwon asked simply. Luxana's colors brightened. She made a long series of musical sounds. The translator struggled but finally produced words. You spoke true feeling. I gave truth. Response, honor, exchange, pain, shows, real. Jiwon felt confused. I do not understand, Luxana tried again. This time her colors shifted as she spoke, helping the translator. Your people speak empty words, no feeling inside, but you
spoke heart, truth. I test with pain. You still speak.
Truth, you tested me? Jiwon asked. Yes. Truth. Speakers. Rare. Most beings. Fake. Nice. You said beautiful, meant beautiful. Pain, come, after truth, still beautiful. Jiwon thought about this. Even with his face hurt and bleeding, he had still thought Luxana was gorgeous. Yes, he said. You are still beautiful. Luxana's entire body exploded with golden light. She made sounds like 1,000 singing birds. The happiness in her voice was clear even without translation, but then her colors changed to deep blues and grays. Sadness filled her crystal form. What is wrong? Jiwon asked. The translation came slowly, as if the words were hard to say. 5 people dying, world sick, crystal, songs, weak, we search, galaxy, for help, need, beings, who speak truth, from heart. Hana stepped forward. Dying? What is happening to your people? Luxana's colors became darker. Crystal world, losing harmony. Songs that keep us alive, growing, quiet. We becoming too perfect. Too controlled, no, wild, emotions to feed, crystal, heart. Do-hyun was taking notes quickly. You need emotional energy to survive? Yes, raw, feeling, pure, truth. Your people, only ones who gives real emotions. Other species are too polite, no, fake. Jiwon felt a chill run down his spine. The Veiltar were not just interested in making friends with humans. They needed human emotions to live. How long do you have? Nari asked with medical concern in her voice. Few of your years, maybe. Less. Crystal. The songs almost silent now. The room fell quiet. Everyone understood now why the first contact was so important. This was not just about trade or friendship. It was about saving an entire species from extinction. But Luxana was not finished. Her colors shifted to hopeful greens and golds. Jiwon gave first real emotion we felt in long time. When you spoke truth, then accepted pain, crystal, world, sang louder. My emotions helped your planet? Jiwon asked, amazed. Yes, truth, emotion creates harmony, but need more many humans speaking heart, truth. Will you help us live? Jiwon looked around at his friends. He saw fear in Minho's eyes, curiosity in Do-hyun's, and worry in Hana's. But he also saw something else. He saw the chance to save a beautiful species and maybe learn something amazing about the power of human feelings. Yes, he said, we will help you. The Crystal Council chamber was the most beautiful place G1 had ever seen. Hundreds of Veiltar stood in perfect circles around a glowing center platform. Each one was made of different colored crystal, ruby red, sapphire blue, emerald green, and colors that had no human names. Their combined light filled the huge space with dancing rainbows, but despite their beauty, the crystals looked dim. Their light was weak and flickering. Some of the older Veiltar barely glowed at all. Kyung, the ship's engineer, whispered to G1, "The harmonic readings are terrible. Their whole planet is losing energy." Isul, who studied human behavior, stood next to them, taking notes. "Look how they move. So careful and controlled, like they are afraid to feel anything too strongly." Luxana led the humans to the center platform. The Crystal Council watched them with curious but faded colors. An ancient Veiltar who seemed to be made of clear diamond spoke first. The translator needed several tries to understand her weak voice. "Outsiders, welcome. I am First Singer Christel. We hear you bring hope." Hana stepped forward to give a formal response, but G1 gently touched her arm. "Let me try something different." He walked closer to the crystal beings. Many of them had never seen a human before. Some shifted nervous colors. "Your people are beautiful," G1 said, speaking to all of them. "But you are dying because you forgot how to feel. We humans feel everything too much sometimes. We get angry, sad, happy, scared, all mixed up together. Maybe that is exactly what you need." Several Veiltar brightened slightly at his words. First Singer Christel made interested chiming sounds. "Tell us more about human emotions," another council member said. This one looked like living amethyst. Do-hyun opened his tablet. "Humans experience approximately 24 basic emotions, but we combine them in thousands of ways. We can be happy and sad at the same time. We can love someone and be angry with them. We do not control our feelings, they flow naturally." "This sounds dangerous," First Singer Christel said. "Uncontrolled emotion caused wars in our past." "It can be dangerous," Jiwan agreed. "But it is also powerful. Our emotions make us create beautiful art, fight for what we believe in, and love deeply. They make us human." Luxana's colors shifted to hopeful greens. "Show them, Jiwan. Show how human emotions work." Jiwan thought for a moment. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He started talking about his real feelings. "I am scared right now," he said loudly. "Scared that we will fail and your people will die. I am also excited because you are all so amazing to look at, and I am frustrated because my commander thinks I should be more polite instead of honest." The effect was immediate. Every Veiltar in the chamber began glowing brighter. Their colors shifted and swirled like aurora lights. The harmonic singing that filled the air grew stronger. Kyung watched his instruments with wide eyes. The energy readings just jumped 50%. But then Ji-won felt something strange. His emotions were getting stronger too. The fear, excitement, and frustration all grew until they almost overwhelmed him. He could feel the crystal beings somehow amplifying what he felt. "What is happening to me?" he gasped. First Singer Christel's voice was stronger now. "Crystal, harmony, reflects emotions, back, makes them grow. This is why we feared feelings long ago." Isul was writing quickly. "The crystals work like emotional mirrors. They take human feelings and make them bigger." Nari stepped forward with medical concern. "Jiwan, your heart rate is very high. We should stop this." But more Veiltar were arriving in the chamber. Word was spreading that the humans could make the crystal song stronger. Soon the huge space was packed with crystal beings of every color imaginable. Ji-won found himself in the center of it all. Every time he expressed a real emotion, the crystals around him glowed brighter and sang louder. But the amplified feelings were becoming hard to handle. "I need help," he said to his friends. Hana surprised everyone by stepping forward. "I am angry," she announced. "Angry that Earth Command gave us impossible rules to follow. Angry that we almost failed because we were too scared to be ourselves." The crystals responded to her anger with deep red light. But instead of violent energy, it felt like strength and determination. Do-hyun joined them. "I am curious about everything you could teach us. Your music, your harmony, your way of thinking with colors and light." Blue and purple lights danced around him as the crystals fed on his curiosity. One by one, More humans from the ship came forward. Kyung talked about his love for solving technical problems. Nari shared her worry about keeping everyone healthy. Even Minho, the military advisor, admitted his fear of failing to protect his friends. Each honest emotion made the crystal chamber brighter. The Veiltar began moving differently, less controlled, more flowing. Their colors mixed and swirled in new patterns, but then something unexpected happened. Several humans began crying. The amplified emotions were too much for them to handle. Others laughed uncontrollably. The feelings were so strong that some people could not cope. "Stop," Minho shouted. "This is hurting our people." The Veiltar immediately dimmed their lights. The overwhelming emotions faded to normal levels. First singer Christelle approached Jiwon with concern in her crystal voice. "We sorry, did not know. Amplification would harm truth speakers." Jiwon was breathing hard but felt better. "We are okay, but we need to be more careful. There must be a way to share emotions safely," Isul said, still taking notes. "Both species benefit, but we need to control the intensity." Luxana's colors shifted thoughtfully. "We learn control together. Humans teach us to feel. We teach you to shape emotions with crystal harmony." Kyung was studying his instruments. "The energy boost you got was incredible. If we could do this safely, we could heal your whole planet. But we would need many humans," Do-Yun pointed out. "And they would all need to be willing to share their real emotions. No fake politeness." First singer Christel made sounds like excited wind chimes. "We offer trade, crystal, harmony, technology for human and emotion and sharing. Your people learn to control feelings. Our people learn to feel again." Jiwon looked around at his friends. This was bigger than just saving the Veiltar. This could change both species forever. "What do you think?" he asked Hana. She was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. The first real smile Jiwon had seen from her since the mission started. "I think Earth Command is going to be very surprised by our report," she said. "But I also think this is the most important discovery in human history." The crystal chamber filled with warm golden light as hundreds of Veiltar sang together in harmony. For the first time in generations, their planet had hope. 3 weeks had passed since the humans agreed to help save the Veiltar world. Despite orders from Earth Command to return home immediately, Jiwon and 20 volunteer crew members had stayed behind to begin the emotional exchange program. The results were beyond anything they had imagined. Jiwon stood in the harmony chamber, a crystal room designed to safely amplify and focus human emotions. Around him, 5 Veiltar sat in a circle, their bodies glowing with soft light. In his hands, he held a small crystal device that would help control the emotional flow. "Tell us about something that makes you happy," Luxana said. Her voice was much clearer now that the planet's harmony was growing stronger. Jiwon thought about his sister back on Earth. She was getting married next month, and he would miss the wedding because of this mission. "My sister Minji is in love," he said, smiling as he remembered her excited phone calls. "She lights up when she talks about her partner. Her happiness is so pure and bright that it makes everyone around her happy too." The crystals around him began to glow with warm yellow and pink light. But this time the emotion did not overwhelm him. The crystal device in his hands helped control the amplification. He felt his happiness grow stronger, but not dangerously so. The Veiltar made sounds like gentle rain on crystal bells. Through their harmonic connection, Jiwon could actually feel their wonder at experiencing human joy. But then something amazing happened. One of the younger Veiltar, whose crystal body was pale green, began to share her own memory. Through the harmony link, Jiwon suddenly felt what it was like when she had first sung with the Crystal Council as a child. The pride, excitement, and belonging flowed through him like music made of emotion. "I can feel what you felt," Jiwon gasped. "And we feel your sister's love through your eyes," Luxana replied. "This is deeper connection than we ever imagined possible." In another part of the Crystal City, Hana was having her own intense experience. She sat with 3 elderly Veiltar who were teaching her to shape emotions with crystal harmony. But the lesson was not going well. I cannot control it, Hana said, frustrated. Anger and worry swirled around her like a storm. The crystals reflected her emotions back too strongly. One of the elderly Veiltar, a being of deep purple crystal named Wise Singer Velara, made calming sounds. Human emotions are like wild rivers, powerful but chaotic. You must learn to build channels for the water to flow. I do not understand, Hana said. Velara's crystal body began to demonstrate. She took Hana's angry emotions and somehow guided them through her crystal structure. The anger transformed into determination and strength. Feel anger, but direct it toward solving problems, not creating them, Velara explained. Your species has incredible emotional power. But power without control destroys. Hana tried to copy what the crystal being had done. Slowly, she began to feel her frustration change into focused energy. It was like learning to use a muscle she never knew she had. Meanwhile, in the ship's medical bay, Nari was dealing with a crisis. 3 crew members had suffered what she called emotional overload during their exchange sessions. They were not physically hurt, but their minds were struggling to process the amplified feelings. I keep feeling everyone else's emotions, said Jaewon, one of the affected crew members. I cannot tell which feelings are mine anymore. Nari checked his vital signs. Everything looked normal, but she could see the confusion in his eyes. The crystal connection is stronger than we expected. We need better protection protocols. Sungho, who had been monitoring all the exchange sessions, brought her his recordings. Look at these brainwave patterns. The humans who work with crystals are developing new neural pathways. It is like they are growing new parts of their minds. Is that dangerous? Nari asked. I do not know. It might be evolution. In the deepest part of the crystal city, Do-hyun was making an incredible discovery. He worked with the oldest Veiltar, beings who remembered their species before they became too controlled and perfect. Long ago, we felt as strongly as you do now, explained ancient singer Mordes, whose crystal body was so old it looked like cloudy glass. But strong emotions led to conflicts. Crystal beings who felt deeply could shatter each other with harmonic attacks. So you learned to suppress your feelings? Do-hyun asked. Yes, we became peaceful but empty. We thought control was wisdom. But we were wrong. We became so afraid of emotional pain that we forgot emotional joy. Do-hyun wrote everything down. What made your species different from humans is that we learned to grow stronger through emotional pain. We do not try to avoid all suffering. This is why you are the key to our survival, Mortis said. Only humans have learned to feel deeply and still function. You turn emotional wounds into wisdom. But even as the exchange program succeeded, problems were growing. More humans were suffering emotional overload. Some became depressed when the crystal amplification ended and normal emotions felt weak and gray. Others became addicted to the intense feelings and did not want to stop the sessions. Minho, who had opposed the program from the beginning, finally confronted Jiwon in the harmony chamber. This has to stop, Minho said. Half the crew is having psychological problems. We are losing people to crystal addiction. Jiwon looked tired. He had been doing exchange sessions every day for 3 weeks. The Veiltar planet is healing. The crystal songs are stronger than they have been in centuries. We are saving an entire species. At what cost? Minho demanded. Some of our people may never be the same. Maybe that is not a bad thing, Jiwon replied. Maybe we are becoming something better. Minho grabbed Jiwon's shoulders. Listen to yourself. You sound like someone in a cult, not a diplomat. Jiwon pushed him away but then stopped. For the first time in weeks, he really looked at his own behavior. He had been so focused on the mission that he had not noticed how obsessed he had become with the crystal experiences. You are right, he admitted. Something is wrong with me. With all of us. That night, Luxana came to speak with the humans privately. Her colors were worried blues and grays. We must tell you something important, she said. The emotional exchange is changing you in ways we did not expect. Your species is adapting to crystal harmony faster than any life form we have ever seen. Adapting how? Hana asked. You are becoming able to feel and understand emotions from across great distances. Some of you are developing what you might call telepathic abilities. Others are learning to heal emotional wounds in people just by being near them. Nari sat up straight. That explains the neural pathway changes. We are evolving. But evolution should take thousands of years, Do-hyun protested. Not for humans, Luxana replied. Your species adapts to new challenges with incredible speed. We chose you not just for your emotional honesty, but because you are the only beings we found who grow stronger under pressure instead of breaking. Ji-won felt a chill of understanding. The emotional overload, the addiction, the confusion, those are not side effects. They are growing pains. Yes, Luxana confirmed. Your species is becoming something new. The question is, are you ready for that responsibility? 6 months after the first slap that changed everything, Ji-won stood before the largest gathering in galactic history. Representatives from 47 different alien species had come to the Veiltar homeworld to witness what everyone was calling the new harmony. The crystal planet sang with life again. Where once there had been dim, dying light, now brilliant colors danced across the surface like aurora storms. The Veiltar had not just survived, they were thriving in ways they had never imagined possible. But the changes went far beyond saving one species. Ji-won looked out at the crowd of aliens and humans gathered in the great crystal amphitheater. His own appearance had changed over the months. His eyes now held flecks of crystal blue, and when he spoke with deep emotion, faint harmonic tones echoed in his voice. All the humans who had participated in the exchange program showed similar changes. 6 months ago, I called an alien beautiful and got slapped for it, Ji-won began, and gentle laughter rippled through the audience. Today I understand that slap was not punishment. It was the beginning of the most important lesson our species has ever learned. In the front row, Luxana glowed with warm golden light. Beside her sat the Crystal Council, their bodies now vibrant with colors that had not been seen on their world for thousands of years. Next to them, Hana led the human diplomatic team. She wore a crystal pendant that helped her communicate emotions directly to alien species without words. We learned that truth is more powerful than politeness, Ji-won continued. We learned that showing real feelings, even when they make us vulnerable, creates stronger connections than any formal treaty. Behind the diplomats, Nari sat with representatives from medical organizations across the galaxy. The emotional healing techniques developed through human Veiltar cooperation had revolutionized treatment for psychological trauma in dozens of species. But the most important thing we learned, Ji-won said, is that growth requires discomfort. The slap stung because truth sometimes hurts, but pain that comes from honesty leads to understanding. In the audience, Minho nodded approvingly. He had initially opposed the exchange program, but now he led the new Galactic Emotional Diplomacy Corps. He had discovered that his protective instincts, when combined with crystal harmony training, made him incredibly effective at resolving conflicts between different species. The crowd included aliens that had never spoken to each other before. The emotional communication techniques pioneered by humans and Veiltar had broken down barriers that traditional diplomacy could not touch. Species that had been enemies for centuries were now working together, united by their ability to share and understand each other's genuine feelings. Today, we announce the formation of the Harmony Alliance, Ji-won said. Not a military alliance, but an emotional one. Any species that commits to honest communication and mutual emotional support is welcome to join. A tall insect-like alien from the Zeridian hives stood up. Her translator device carried the clicking sounds of her natural speech. The Zeridian collective wishes to learn these human emotion techniques. Our hive mind has become too efficient. We have lost individual feelings. A floating gas being from the nebular territories pulsed with interested colors. The cloud dancers also request this training. We feel deeply but cannot express emotions to solid beings. Humans could teach us translation of feelings. One by one, species that had never shown interest in cooperation before asked to join the alliance. The human ability to feel deeply, speak honestly, and grow through adversity had become the most valuable resource in the galaxy. But then an unexpected voice spoke from the back of the amphitheater. What about the risks? Everyone turned to see Dr. Isul approaching the speaking platform. She had spent months studying the long-term effects of human crystal evolution. We must be honest about what this program has cost, she said, addressing the crowd. Humans who participate in emotional exchange do change permanently. Some have developed abilities that we do not fully understand. Others struggle with the intensity of amplified emotions. We are becoming something new, but we do not know what that something is. The amphitheater fell silent. This was the question that had worried Earth Command and many human families. Were the benefits worth the risks? Ji-won stepped forward. Dr. Isul is right to bring up these concerns. Change is never easy or safe. But I want to ask everyone here a question. How many of you have become better beings through experiencing pain? Murmurs spread through the crowd as individuals from dozens of species considered their own experiences. Humans grow stronger through struggle, Jiwan continued. Every species here has faced challenges that nearly destroyed them. But you survived because you adapted. You changed. You became more than you were before. Luxana rose from her seat. Her crystal body was now more brilliant than ever. But she also showed new patterns, swirls of human influence colors that had never existed in Veiltar physiology before. I wish to tell you what humans taught us, she said, her voice carrying both crystal harmony and human emotional resonance. Before they came, we thought peace meant avoiding all conflict. We thought wisdom meant controlling all feelings. We were dying because we were too perfect. She gestured to the other Veiltar, whose bodies now showed a beautiful mix of their original crystalline structure and new, more fluid patterns influenced by human emotional expression. Humans showed us that true strength comes from feeling everything deeply and choosing to love anyway. They taught us that honesty, even when it hurts, builds stronger relationships than politeness ever could. An elderly human from Earth's diplomatic corps stood up. But what about our children? What about future generations? We do not know how these changes will affect them. Jiwan nodded respectfully. You are right to worry. But I ask you this. Would you rather have children who are safe but limited, or children who are challenged but capable of incredible growth? He paused, then continued with the most important part of his speech. The Veiltar tested me with pain because they needed to know if human emotions were real. Today I want to test all of us. I am going to tell you something that might hurt to hear, but it is the truth. The amphitheater became completely silent. Every species here, including humans, has reached a point where we must choose between safety and growth. We can keep our old ways and stay exactly as we are, or we can embrace the discomfort of change and become something amazing. Jiwan looked directly at Luxana. You are still gorgeous, he said simply. Luxana's body erupted in brilliant golden light, but this time when she moved toward him, Jiwan was ready. Her crystal hand struck his cheek, not as hard as that first time, but with the same meaning. But now Jiwan understood completely. The slap was not punishment. It was acknowledgement. It was the Veiltar way of saying, your truth has been heard and accepted. The pain still stung, but Jiwan smiled through it, because he knew that this moment of honest discomfort would lead to deeper understanding between all the species watching. The choice is yours, he said to the gathered representatives. Stay safe and stagnant or embrace the beautiful, painful truth of growth. The amphitheater erupted with sounds from dozens of different species, all of them saying yes to the future, no matter how uncertain it might be. As the crowd dispersed to begin the work of building the Harmony Alliance, Luxana approached Jiwan one more time. Thank you, she said, for teaching us that truth-telling is worth the pain that comes after. Thank you, Jiwan replied, touching his stinging cheek, for teaching us that some kinds of pain are actually love. Above them, the crystal sky of the Veiltar homeworld sang with new harmonies, a song that combined the structured beauty of crystal music with the wild, honest chaos of human emotion. It was the sound of two species becoming something entirely new together.